What is up, ladies and boys and girls, and welcome back to another video at Axe Entertainment. I am your host, Zack Axe, bringing you another edition of WWE Weekly Awards. This one is for September 1st to September 5th. Now, it's funny because just last week in wrestling, I said it was a very boring week, it was very lackluster, not a lot of great things happening, and then literally 1 week later, we have an amazing week. Raw, Smackdown, and NXT all put on great shows this week. They were all very entertaining, and I'm very excited to talk to you about it today. I have 3 topics for you, 5 awards, and let's get right into it. I'm going to go and get this one out of the way. First award is going to go to Female MVP. I'm going to give an honorable mention for Female MVP to Julia and the Kabuki Warriors, but I'm going to give Female MVP, maybe cheating a little bit, to AJ frickin' Lee. AJ Lee is back, and I couldn't be more happy. I've been waiting for it for so long, and I think after this return of hers, I think I'm kind of okay with the fact that she didn't come out at Evolution like we were hoping, or even the Royal Rumble like we were hoping, because we were constantly waiting for AJ Lee to come back, and we had different scenarios where we thought she was going to come back, and she just never did. And then that made this moment even more sweet. I think this was a way better spot for her to return than just coming out with no storyline, no nothing at Rumble or at Evolution. So I think this was definitely a great play by WWE to have AJ Lee come out here, and even though she didn't have a match, she made a huge return. We haven't seen her in years. It's been, what, 10 years? It's absolutely insane. I've been missing AJ Lee, one of my favorites from back in the day, and she's finally back, and I couldn't be more excited. Can't wait to see where this is going. I don't know if this is going to be a one-off thing for this feud with Seth and Becky, or if after this maybe she heads into a little renaissance of her own, kind of like we see Nikki Bella doing. So I don't know, but no matter what, I'm here for it, and I'm just so happy AJ Lee was back, and I was so excited to hear Light It Up on SmackDown this week. First topic I want to talk about is 2 of the confirmed matches for WrestlePalooza. Talk a little bit about them. First of all, we're going to talk about John Cena versus Brock Lesnar will be taking place at WrestlePalooza, most likely being the main event. Our first time seeing Brock Lesnar wrestle in, over a year, I know, maybe even 2 years. We haven't seen him in quite a bit in the ring wrestling, and he's finally going to be back. So Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, after Brock Lesnar came out to cause a DQ in his match against Sammy. More on that match in a little bit. But we also had the confirmation for Io Sky versus Stephanie BAACKK. So I was really hoping for Stephanie versus Rhea, just because I really want a dream match, and I can't wait to see that match. But I think we'll get that sooner or later. I think they're kind of holding off on it, and we're going to go ahead and do the match that we've never got a definitive winner on, being Io versus Stephanie, because every time they wrestle, it ended in some kind of controversy, and they never got a fair ending to their match. So we're finally going to get that. So I'm actually excited for this match. I think if we finally have a definitive winner, it's going to be great for the vacant championship, obviously. I'm really hoping Stephanie wins. Talk more about that when my predictions come around. But I do have one prediction I want to lay right here, just in case it does happen. I think that Asuka is going to turn on Io Sky at WrestlePalooza, causing Stephanie to win. And I'll talk more about that when it comes to the predictions, but I think this is going to lead into War Games, and I just want to lay it here, because if I see the dots connecting here and it actually happens, then I can look back 2 months ago and say, hey, I actually predicted that. But I think, right, I think that we're going to have Asuka turning on Io, and then at War Games we're going to have a 4-on-4 women's War Games between Asuka, so this one team is going to be Asuka, Kairi Sane, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez on one team, and on the other team I think it's going to be Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Stephanie BAACKK, and Nikki Bella. If that happens, I'm just going to look back at this video and say told you so. Next, what I'm going to give out is Team of the Week. Now, we had a lot of good team matches this week, a lot of good team-orientated matches. Oriented? Did I say that right? I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to honorable mentions to The Vision, Uso, and LA Knight. Of course, they had a match on Monday Night Raw. It was a very good match. The War Raiders and Penta are going to get an honorable mention, and then Dark State for their match against the winners of this award, believe it or not, Hank and Tank. And I say believe it or not because for so many weeks, like, you can go back to all my weekly awards, it's constant complaining about how the NXT Tag Team Championships were not being used and how Hank and Tank wasn't being used. And now that they're no longer champions, the week after they lose their titles, or 2 weeks after they lose their titles, they're winning Team of the Week for their performance against Dark State. So we had a 4-on-4 in the main event of NXT this week. We had Obafemi, Ricky Saints, and Hank and Tank taking on Dark State. And it was a very, very good match leading into the final shenanigans at the end, where Obafemi and Ricky Saints started brawling, and they left a 2-on-4 for Hank and Tank. And Hank and Tank it looked like, I thought it was going to be over there, but they started to finally, they started to fight off the odds, fight off the 4, and then we got to the point where Cutler James had, I think, was it Hank? Had Hank, and he said, "There's nothing that's going to save you now." And he said he said the name of Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry appeared, distracted Darkseid enough for Hank and Tank to pick up the 2v4. Because, like I said, their teammates left. It was a 2v4, and they picked up the win with a little bit of help from Joe Hendry, but he didn't do anything. He didn't get in the ring and hit anybody. He just did a little bit of a distraction. So the 2v4 pickup in an amazing match for Hank and Tank. They're easily winning Team of the Week. And we're going to go back to back with awards here and go ahead and give out the next award, which is going to be Match of the Week. Now, Match of the Week was very, very hard because we had a lot of good matches this week. There was a lot of great matches on all three of the shows, had at least one, if not two, three great matches this week. So honorable mentions are going to go out to the 4-on-4 in NXT that we just talked about. Sami Zayn versus John Cena probably would have won this award if it wasn't for the finish, which I knew we couldn't let Sami beat Cena clean, but we also couldn't let Cena become U.S. champion right now, so whatever. But it was a very good match before that. And then the Vision versus LA and Uso was a very good match too, so that match is also going to get honorable mention. And believe it or not, I would have never thought that this was going to win this award, but Penta and the War Raiders taking on the New Day is going to win this award. And this match was chaotically amazing. Like, this match was very, very good, and it felt like a throwaway match because I know we're doing the Penta New Day storyline, but like, what are we really leading into with these teams? It felt like just something for these guys to do, and they put on a stellar match. There were some great spots in this match. They all looked great. They all got to hit their moves. They all got to have big moments in the match. Everybody from Waller to Kofi to Woods to the War Raiders and Penta, everybody was looking great in this match. And then Penta and the War Raiders picked up a huge win. And I don't know where we go from this. I think it's great that we're having the tag teams that aren't fighting for the titles currently still go for other things, still doing other things, because usually on Raw, when we're not having the team go for the titles, they're not doing anything. Well, they're doing something. They're having a great 3-on-3 match that's winning Match of the Week. So this match was absolutely stellar, and I can't believe that it won this award, but it's going to. Next topic is we're going to go ahead and go into the speed round. Now, the speed round's probably going to be pretty quick this week. We have on NXT, we have Briggs coming out and fooling everybody with the Taker gong, whatever. We heard Taker's gong hit, and we were like, oh god, he's coming out to confront Javon Evans, and then it ended up being Josh Briggs fooling everybody. And then Josh Briggs ended up having a match with Andre Chase. He beat Andre Chase pretty easily, destroyed Chase U, and now next week we get to see him face Javon Evans. And I think they're doing the right steps with Briggs. I think he's been there long enough to finally get that main event level push. NXT Homecoming is coming up. We saw a little bit of it as DIY came out this week on NXT, so I think we're going to see a lot of NXT guys from back in the day come out here and have a moment here in the next 2 weeks for NXT Homecoming coming back to Full Sail Arena. I'm hoping maybe an Aleister Black to come down to NXT for something, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor. We could have even some guys that weren't like the biggest guys down in NXT, like JD McDonough could be there. Dominic Mysterio, while not going through NXT in the traditional fashion, of course, 2-time NXT North American champion. Carmelo Hayes. There's a lot of guys that we could see. Braun Breaker come down and back into NXT for a little bit, and maybe even Ilya Dragunov making a return. Maybe we could even see Bobby Roode. We know Bobby Roode or Robert Roode works for NXT or works for WWE still, so he could very well be there. He was a pivotal part in the Black and Gold days. Andrade, there's so many to name, and I hope all of them come out and get their moment, even some AEW guys, because we did see the Undisputed Era get mentioned by DIY during their promo, which Undisputed Era was one of the best things about NXT back in the day. Of course, all of them, I think, are in AEW, maybe Bobby Fish in AEW, I don't know. I know at least Roderick, Kyle, and Adam Cole still in AEW, so I don't think any of them will be making a comeback. Samoa Joe's in AEW, but some of the guys from back in the day, maybe Shinsuke, we could see come back for Homecoming. But there's a lot of options. I'm just excited to see what we see from these guys. We're having a flag match next week on NXT, and I don't know if it's just me, but I cannot really get behind this feud. I don't know what it is about this feud between Ethan Page. For a while it was Page and Green versus Steele and Heights, but now it looks like we're just transitioning into Tavion Heights versus Ethan Page. I'm guessing working our way up to North American Championship match, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the whole Canada versus America thing, but I just can't get behind this feud. Like, this feud just like kind of boring to me. Like, they're having decent matches and they're having like good promo battles, but there's just something about this program I just can't get behind. And then on SmackDown or on Raw, I mean, I don't know if it was just me, but I can't tell if they were either A, piping in boos, or if B, the boos were so loud that they had to turn Becky Lynch's microphone up and kind of like, you know, like cut out everybody in the back and just like focus on Becky's mic. Because either A, like I said, they're piping in boos for Becky, which I don't think is the case. I think they were just so loud when they were booing Becky Lynch for the promo against CM Punk that to hear what Becky was saying, they had to turn Becky's microphone up. They were booing like hell in France, and I kind of would have liked AJ Lee to come back in France because I think the pop would have been a little bit bigger. But hey, we got AJ Lee back, and I'm not mad about that. Real quick, if you guys do want to order some Dubby Energy, it looks just like this. It comes in these little tubs. You put a little scoop into your shaker, and then it gives you energy throughout the day. And I finally got some of my different flavors to try out. I'll be trying out this one later. I have Dragonade in there right now. Dragonade is peak, one of the best flavors. I do recommend that one very heavily. If you do want to order some, go ahead and click the link in the description. It'll take you to their website. Order some Dragonade. Personally, that's what I would recommend. And then use discount code Zack Axe at checkout. You save yourself 10%, and I appreciate Dubby for sponsoring me. Stuff is really fire though. Next word I'm gonna give out. Next word I'm gonna give out is promo of the week. Now, promo of the week, there's actually a couple good promos, so I'm gonna go ahead and mention a couple of them. We talked about DIY coming out to confront Trick Williams a little bit. They had a very good promo. Dark State's backstage promo on NXT was very good, going through all the times that, you know, they were pushed down or they were not used properly or told they weren't good enough, and then they just had a very good backstage promo. No butt joke from Cutler James, which I think was okay this week because that promo was just so good. And then LA Knight had a good promo on Raw. But I'm going to give this obviously to Becky Lynch and CM Punk's altercation on Monday Night Raw. Now they had the kind of the same one on SmackDown. The SmackDown one wasn't as good. Monday Night Raw's one was so much better. And it was such a good promo, especially from Becky coming out to confront CM Punk. CM Punk had a little bit of his generic, the fans are my friends moments, but besides those, this promo was like peak Becky coming out and just running down Punk and saying, I'm sick of them they were chanting CM Punk like 10 years ago after you left, and that was during my matches, that was during Seth's matches, that was during everybody's matches, and we didn't want to hear that. And now they're chanting AJ Lee, and she doesn't even work here. At the time she didn't, of course. And like just running down how she's sick of hearing CM Punk chants, she's sick of hearing AJ Lee chants, and how the feud with Seth Rollins is affecting her too. And then CM Punk, of course, going back to running down Seth Rollins, and then running down even a little bit of Becky. And we ended with Becky slapping Punk, and, you know, just kind of doing stuff that she knows that he won't hit her back. So then he gets out of the ring. And the only other part I really don't like about this promo is I didn't like the Becky's at the end, because Punk had a really good ending, promo ender, when he was like, you're gonna regret laying your hands on me and all that stuff, and then leaves. But then Becky had the whole, oh, bye-bye, you know, you stink, ew, I'm gross, you're gross, we're gross, this, that, and that was really annoying. I think that ruined it a little bit, but not enough to not let me give this award. And the one on SmackDown was pretty decent too, but it was pretty much the same thing before the big return of AJ Lee, which I'm still so geeked about. But this promo easily wins promo of the week. Last topic I want to talk about is Sami Zayn versus John Cena. Now, they had a match on SmackDown, and I really was hoping we got some more John Cena matches before he leaves, you know, permanently. So, and hoping we got some more on like B-level shows and like little stuff like this. And we're finally getting some more matches on SmackDown. And I got one today yesterday against Sami Zayn. And the match was very good, first of all. So we went back to the pulling out moves of people that he knows he won't be able to wrestle during his tour, which I love. You know, we saw the shout out to Cesaro and Ziggler and all that during his match against Logan Paul. And in this match against Sami Zayn, we saw a pop-up powerbomb, you know, kind of like Kevin Owens, kind of throwing a shout out to Kevin Owens, who made his debut much like Sami Zayn against John Cena during the US Open Challenge. We saw the Edge Spear. I'm pretty sure that, I think Michael Cole in commentary went, oh, we know the big dog uses that one. Like, he wasn't shouting out Roman Reigns. That was for Edge. He did the whole hair slick and get up and all that stuff. Then we saw a GTS, like CM Punk. Of course, they were in Chicago. And then the Angle Slam and Angle Lock for Kurt Angle, and maybe the Ankle Lock for Jack Swagger, who knows. But yeah, he did all those people getting a shout out. Of course, different reasons he won't be able to wrestle them. Of course, some of them, Edge is in AEW. He already wrestled CM Punk, and then Angle retired, and Kevin Owens currently injured, so won't be able to wrestle any of those. So I'm glad we're getting more shout outs. I hope in the next couple matches, I hope we see a Rough Rider from John Cena. Kind of shout out to Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona. I think there's a couple other ones that I would like to mention, or that John Cena obviously won't be able to wrestle. That I think would be great. Like I was thinking maybe a backstabber for Carlito, because that was a pretty big feud, and maybe a chokeslam or knockout punch for Big Show, but pedigree for Triple H, super kick for Shawn Michaels. There's a lot of different guys that I want to see be referenced in these John Cena matches. Also, Sami Zayn was getting booed when he came out. Chicago hates Sami Zayn, and I guess I can kind of get why not you don't like Sami Zayn, because he wins a lot, but it's Sami Zayn. He's doing great. He's a great dude, and he's a great wrestler. So I don't know what you're really mad about. If you just hate the system of WWE pushing guys, then don't watch WWE. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just really stupid to me. But then Sami asked John Cena if he can use the US Open Challenge, and this got me just as excited as anything else that happened other than AJ Lee coming back, because the US Open Challenge was one of my favorite reasons to watch SmackDown back in the day. When John Cena would come out, have that US Open Challenge, and you never know who it was going to be. It could be somebody that's on the roster right now. It could be a returning superstar. It could be a new superstar like Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens. And I think that this Sami Zayn Open Challenge would be a great place to have different people get to show off their set of skills that they don't usually get to show off, or even have a return or debut, such as maybe an Ilya Dragunov coming back to challenge Sami, maybe Ricky Saints or Ethan Page coming up to challenge Sami, maybe a TNA guy like Mike Santana or Dolph Ziggler coming out to take the opportunity, which I know they're usually on NXT, but they could pop up on Smackdown. And then maybe if he holds us long enough and there's a chance that Kevin comes back, maybe his final US Open Challenge could be Kevin Owens. I think that'd be lit. I think that one's the most unlikely out of all the ones I said, but that would be awesome. But yeah, John Cena versus Sami Zayn gave us a lot to like this week. Final award I'm going to give out is Male MVP. Now, honorable mention for this is going to go to Dominic Mysterio for picking up a win over AJ Styles. As much as I don't like it, he did pick up the win, so I got to kind of give him the props here. But I'm going to give Male MVP to Aleister Black. Now, Aleister Black picked up a huge win. It wasn't the best match against Damian Priest. It wasn't the best match, right? But Aleister beat Damian Priest. And this is something that we didn't see at all in his first run, which is beating established superstars. You know, it seems like they actually have something they want to do with Aleister. They have faith in him, and they let him be a former world champion, a former U.S. champion, a former tag team champion, a former Mr. Money in the Bank, and Damian Priest, one of their favorite toys to play with. Damian Priest is one of their favorites to push, one of their favorites to have out, one of their favorites to have feuds with. He seems to be one of Triple H's favorite superstars to use. And he just let him loose to Aleister Black, so this has to mean something. This has to mean Aleister Black might be getting a push here soon. And I think with the WWE Champion being a face Cody Rhodes, a Cody Rhodes versus heel Aleister Black promo would absolutely be amazing. And I would love to see him get elevated to that next level, even if it isn't the main title, even if it is just maybe a US Open Challenge Sami Zayn. Giving Aleister Black an opportunity to become U.S. champion, or just have a good showing heading into whatever he's doing next. I just think this is great signs from WWE that they trust Aleister Black, and that we're going to get more from Aleister Black instead of what we got last time. So I'm really excited for the future of Aleister Black, and I'm excited to see where we go from here, and hopefully it means some sort of title this time, because he is way too good to not be used again. Alright, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and comment. If I gave any award to the wrong person, let me know. If you do want to order Dubby, like I said, discount code is in the description. It's Zack Axe. You'll save yourself 10%. There's a lot of good flavors over there. Check it out for me. They sponsor me, of course. And go ahead and ring the bell if you want to be notified when I drop a video like this one. And subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. That was the worst outro I think I've ever done.
This happened if I had real tough love, I'm bad at this, and I'm bad for this. Narcissistic tendencies, I don't care about no one else. Narcissistic tendencies, I'm low, so set me on the shelf. Few people ever have my back, yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.
So, award, topic, 2 awards, topic, 2 awards, that's 5. Wait, topic, award, topic, no, we start with awards. Award, topic, award, topic, pick, award, topic, award, ooh yeah, okay. Award, topic, award. That's 3 awards. Topic, award, topic. Yeah, okay. Ow, my nipple.